Hi, my name is Daniel, and today we're going to be going over the two basic quests for Tinkercad. Just to give you a little background about myself really quick, I got my Bachelor's of Fine Arts from SUNY New Paltz in ceramics and 3D printing. There's a picture of me. This past summer, I finished a 7-week sleepaway camp where I taught 3D printing to 8, 9, 10, and all the way up to 16-year-olds. We did a lot of our work on Tinkercad and a little bit of work in Minecraft. But for the Tinkercad, I found myself teaching the same 4 lessons over and over again in a very similar way. So I wanted to streamline this process a little bit and kind of give it out to everyone on the internet. So let's get to Tinkercad. How this is going to work is I'm going to show you some cool stuff on the teacher screen. I'm going to model it for you, and then I'm going to switch over to the student screen. So whatever I do in the student screen, I'm going to lay out pretty clearly, and then you guys can pause after each like mini quest command. I know it may be easy just to watch this video, but I would really encourage you to pause the screen after every little mini objective and to really do it yourself. The best way to learn is to do it, so if you guys do it, you'll be able to retain as much as possible. So, getting right to it, after you create an account, you're going to be brought up to this main menu with all your designs and everything, but we're going to jump right into Learn. After we go to Learn, we're going to go to Learning the Moves. So left click. And the first thing we're going to learn is how to select an object. So, pretty simply, you're going to left click the object. And we can see that it has these 4 white squares. It actually has 5. There's a 5th that's floating right on top. It has a cone. It has 4 black squares, and it has 3 double arrows. Some of them are hiding right above there. But now the object is selected, we're going to left click and hold, and then drag it on top of the tan construction. The other 2 ways to move an object is to left click the object. When it's selected, you can use the arrow keys. So you can either tap it or hold the arrow key, and the other way is to hold shift and use the arrow key. That'll move it a little bit faster. So why don't we jump to student screen. So this is the right time to start doing exactly what I'm doing. We're going to left click on Learn, left click on Learning the Moves, and the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to click and drag the tan object on top of the stairwell. So left click and drag. After you do that, you're going to learn how to use the undo. So up here in the upper left hand corner, you're going to left click on the undo command. And that's going to bring you back. So the next thing I want you to do is use the arrow keys to move the object. So we're going to left click, make sure our object is selected. We know the difference between selected. It has 5 white boxes, 4 black boxes, a cone, there's a bunch of stuff. It also has a dotted line. It also glows blue. So I want you to make sure that you have your object selected and then use the arrow key to move your object on top of the stairwell. You can either click it or you can hold the left arrow key. So pause and get that done. When you're done with that, I want you to undo, and we're going to do the last one. We're going to click and use the arrow key with the shift button so we can move it faster. So to deselect, I can left click anywhere on the playing field and select it. I'm going to left click the object. So now I'm going to hold shift with my left hand, and with my right hand tap the left arrow key. And that's about right. So, the coolest part, my favorite part, if you click next, explosion and sparkles. Favorite thing about this program, the sparkles. Alright, we're going to go back to the teacher screen for the demoing. And if you left click on the Tinkercad logo, this is the Tinkercad logo. This is always how we get back to the home screen. I'm always going to tell you to click the logo. And this is the logo, so you just left click it. Then we're going to go to Learn. And we're going to go to the next quest, is camera controls. In my opinion, this is the most important. Learning how to move around the world allows you to change your objects and modify them, and it's just one of the most important lessons, is knowing how to move around. So, how do we move around? The first way we're going to move around is called rolling around the ball. If we can see here, there's a cube in the upper left-hand corner. If you left-click, hold, and drag it, it will roll around the ball. You can imagine if you have a tennis ball in your hand, and you're going around the back of the tennis ball, underneath the tennis ball, if you're rolling above the tennis ball, it's just like rolling around a tennis ball. That's how I explain it to all my students. So, back in the student screen, I want you to go to Tinkercad, go to Learn, and go to Camera Controls. So, the first thing I want you to do is just try rolling around the ball. Just try grabbing this box, left-clicking, and dragging it around. Just try messing around. You can go a little crazy. Then I want you to show me the top of Elvis's head. This is actually Elvis. We'll get into that a little bit more. But I want you to show me the top of Elvis's head using roll around the ball. Alright, if we go back to the teacher screen, there is another way to roll around the ball. We learned about grabbing this box in the upper left-hand corner. The other way to roll around the ball is to hold Control on the keyboard with your left finger, your left pointer finger, and left-clicking and dragging. This is the same exact thing, except we're using our mouse to move around. I think some of the younger kids will have, it'll be a little easier for you guys to use the cube, and for maybe some older kids, it'll be probably faster going forward, just to hold the Control key and to roll around the ball using the left mouse, just on anywhere on the screen. We already did that. Alright. So another cool thing is if we ever get lost, or let's say you guys are pressing a bunch of buttons and we don't know where we are anymore, there's a really quick way to get back to the beginning, and that's the house button, or the home button. So we're just going to click on the home button. It's going to bring us back. On the student screen, why don't we try that a few times? Why don't you guys try going a little crazy with the box and pressing the home button? I want you to try that 3 times. That's 1. I'm gonna go a little crazy, press a bunch of buttons. I don't know where I am. Zoom in. Where am I? I'm in a big brown blob. Home button. Fixed. Where am I now? Everything's all rotated. I don't want to get back. Home button. Alright. 3 times. So, back to the teacher screen. The next control that we're going to learn is pan. So we learned roll around the ball if we hold Control. The next one is you're going to hold Control and you're going to hold Shift. You're going to hold them together and then you're going to use your left click and drag. So this is pan. If you can imagine, you have a piece of glass and you're moving the glass left, you're moving the glass right, you're moving it up and down. We can't get to the other side, we can't go underneath, we can only move it left, right, up and down. So this is pan. So back on the student screen, why don't you guys try pan? So remember, we're going to hold Control, we're going to hold Shift, and then we're going to left click and drag. This is pan. So whatever we see, we're just moving that left, right, up, and down. Cool. So, what do we know so far? We know holding Control, do, oops, sometimes the program fails. If the program ever makes a mistake or it's not working, always just hit refresh. Everything saves automatically in this program, and I do it once in a while. It's still a program that's being built. So it wasn't working for me just now, so I always hit refresh on the controls. Reload this page. So we know roll around the ball by holding control and using the left mouse button. We know pan, holding control and shift. And now we're going to put them together. If you hold, first I want you guys to roll around the ball. Uh-oh, gotta reload again. So if you hold control and then use the left mouse button, we can see Elvis's butt. So why don't we do that together? Why don't we roll around the ball by holding control. Gotta reload this page too. Sorry guys. So the next mini task is to show me Elvis's butt. We're going to do that by rolling around the ball. Done. And the last thing that we're going to learn is zoom. So if you have a physical scroll wheel or if you have a Mac mouse, the scroll wheel is actually invisible. You just pet the center of the mouse for a Mac, or you roll the scroll wheel if you're using any other type of mouse. You don't have to do it quick or you don't have to do it hard. I would suggest just doing a penny's worth, the distance of a penny, just moving that much with your pointer finger on the mouse. That's how sensitive it is. So I usually call this petting the kitten. So you only have to pet the kitten to zoom in and out. And make sure that your mouse is on the playing field. It's not on the sidebar and it's not in the tutorial window. It's in the center of the screen. So this is zoom. So on the student screen, why don't we try that? Why don't we try zooming in and out on Elvis's butt? So eventually we can see Elvis's legs. Looks like he's wearing parachute pants. So for the last thing, we're going to put all these things together. So I'm going to click the home button, and we're going to get to Elvis's face. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold control and use the left mouse button, and we're going to roll around the ball so we can see in between the screen and Elvis's body. Then we're going to zoom into Elvis's feet, and then we're going to hold control and shift and pan up to his face. And bonus, you can zoom in more and then pan more. So we should be able to see Elvis's face right in the screen, right in the center of the screen, really big. So we'll do it one more time. I'm going to click the home button. So I'm going to hold control to roll around the ball. Alternately, you can also use the box, clicking, dragging the box to roll around the ball. Then I'm going to use the center scroll wheel gently by petting the kitten to zoom in. I can zoom right into, I see his feet, into the corner of my view. And then I'm going to pan. So to pan, we're going to hold control and shift and drag the screen down. And then zoom in again, and then pan the screen over. So you guys can really get a feel about how moving around the world is really helpful to get into small pieces of your object or your design, and really getting around everything. So that is the first two quests for Tinkercad. If you guys want to see more, like, comment, or subscribe. I know everyone says that, but if I know someone's watching, it's worth my time to make more videos. The next things I'd probably go over are creating holes and scale copying paste, about selecting objects and using objects to make dark matter and subtract from other objects. So let me know what you think. I'll see you guys again next time.